Much, Mr. Speaker. I want to begin by extending my congratulations to my distinguished brother, the Minister of Finance, and his staff. Of course, all the staff in all the other ministries and all the other ministers whose collective efforts were presented here as in the form of our 2026 budget. And of course, I want to especially commend the Minister of Finance for his marathon presentation of that budget with his characteristic elegance. 6.5 hours, I think. So, Mr. Speaker, coming low down in the batting order has given me the advantage of listening to a number of presentations, almost the entire opposition side, and I dare say, Mr. Speaker, with respect, an inexperienced opposition, but they regaled us in all types of lectures. They purport to explain to us about how budgets should be presented, how policies should be crafted, all manner of things. When you listen to them, rather than temper their presentation with the commensurate inexperience, they unfortunately exhibited an uncanny degree of arrogated knowledge and experience. I want to lecture this bunch of veterans, as my brother Jacob said. So, Mr. Speaker, I thought it best to put on the record again of this House that the People's Progressive Party, on whose behalf I have the privilege to speak, has been crafting and presenting budgets in the Colonial Assembly and in this National Assembly since the year 1953, 73 years ago. And in terms of winning free and fair elections, we have demonstrated that we are the most successful unit in that regard, not only in Guyana, but the entire Caribbean. We know this thing. Every election, we go to the people with a manifesto, and we discuss with the people that manifesto. And the people, if they endorse the manifesto, then we tell them to elect us. And when they elect us, they put us in government, we implement that manifesto. Mr. Speaker, that winning formula was once again employed in the September 1st elections. And from 2020, we have been engaging constantly with the people of our country, recording those engagements, and we produced a budget which we took to the people under the banner Forward Together for a Better Guyana, the manifesto. And we traveled the length and breadth of this country, and we explained this manifesto to the people. We explained every policy. We explained every project. We explained every program. And we said to the people that if you wish us to implement these policies, if you agree with these programs, if you support these plans, then elect us and we will implement them. And we have, Mr. Speaker, an unenviable track record of success. We have that, of delivering on promises. So the people believed us. And when the results of the 1st of September 2025 elections were revealed, when the election results came out, we got 36 seats, meaning that the people voted solidly for those programs, solidly for those plans, and solidly for those projects. And they are contained in this budget that we are presenting. So with the greatest of respect, you don't agree with it, You didn't vote for us. You didn't agree with it. You didn't vote for us. The people who vote for us, we are representing them and every other Guyanese. That is the reality of politics, my friend. That is the reality of politics. And you know what? We don't have to put it on a manifesto that we are putting people first. We are in politics together. And they, the APNU, did just like us. They did just like us. They went to the people. They had a manifesto. They told the people, these are the plans, these are the projects, these are the policies. If you want them, if you want us, and if you want these implemented, vote for us. And we are putting you first. They put that on the document. When the results came out, the people put them last. Today, they have been reduced to the back benches of the parliament. The last benches. Last benches. So, Mr. Speaker, and let me explain these results, because I still hear some quibbling. One member says seats don't matter. We got 36 seats, you got 12. I know you're not strong in maths. That's 3 times the amount of seats that you got. You got 16, we got 2.25 times that you got. So you must know your places when you're talking to this side. Must know your places. And you, the Honorable Amanza Nazir, we have to restructure a seat. She only got 3
Did you say Nadir?
Sorry?
Did you say Nadir?
Desir.
Oh, sorry.
Desir. Will never make such a mistake, sir. So we need to configure a new chair. She only got 3/4 of a seat.
Actually, it was like half. It was like half because...
Mr. Speaker, and we know why the people voted the way they did. Because I sat in this house and I heard an honorable member on that side say that the 5Bs program that consisted of 2 32 20-seat buses, 32 22-seat buses, 3 bicycles, and 12 boats. That is a more superior program than our cash grant program. And when the honorable member said so, the comrade next to him said, you hear him? He's a businessman. He's a businessman, comrade. 32 bus. We are giving 206,000 children of our country $85,000. And these people are talking about 3 bicycles, 2 boats, and 32 bus. And they're surprised that they're on that side. In a minuscule number of 12. And Mr. Speaker, I heard the honorable member Dexter Todd, he's not here. And maybe it is inexperience. The honorable member came to the podium and he was shrieking and he was screaming. I had to walk out of the house while the leader of the opposition was getting migraine in the court. I got migraine in the parliament listening to him. The comrade was screaming and screeching like a hyena in heat. But he said a couple of things that I must respond to. Mr. Speaker, he said a couple of things that I must respond to. Mr. Speaker, I am a fan of National Geographic. Check it out. He spoke about the International Observer reports in relation to the 2025 elections. And he tried to create some type of misconception and misconstruction of what the reports said. But let me say one thing. every single observer team that observed these elections, their reports said unequivocally that the results declared by 𝐁𝐔𝐃𝐆 reflect the will of the electorate of this country. That is what they said. The comrade is a lawyer. He would know that that is the ratio decidendi of the report, and everything else is obiter dicta. He made another statement, and perhaps the Honorable Member Ganesh will convey to the Honorable Member, to Honorable Mr. Aubrey Norton, that he got to hold some classes with these people. There are certain things that you don't bring up. There are certain aspects of your past that you don't revisit. But inexperience came to the fore, and the comrades chose to speak about Dr. Walter Rodney's assassination.
And look what the man we say the next.
And yes, I'll get to Comrade David Hines shortly. And he tried to convey in this, tried to distance the PNC from the assassination of that great historian and Pan-African scholar of Guyanese birth. A man whom we respect, and this country owes a great duty to revere and continue to respect him. It was the PPP government that established an independent commission to inquire into the death of Dr. Rodney. And that commission was consisted of international jurists, not Guyanese, jurists from the Caribbean, specially selected. The PNC appeared with counsel at that commission. They appeared by counsel. They chose to participate. And of course, by the time the commission concluded its work, they got into government and they stifled the work of the commission. But fortunately, the commission had completed its tasks. And let me read into the record, Mr. Speaker, two findings of the commission. Firstly, Dr. Walter Rodney was a man of large and significant stature, both in Guyana and beyond at the time of his death. He could only have been killed in what we find to be a state-organized assassination with the knowledge of Prime Minister Burnham in the Guyana of that period. It was a controlled society, and Burnham had a large and detailed knowledge of whatever was being done by the state and its agencies. Now let me go to conclusion number 2. We have no hesitation in holding that Gregory Smith was responsible for Dr. Walter Rodney's death on the 13th of June, 1980. And that in so doing, he was acting as an agent of the state, having been aided and abetted so to do by individuals holding position of leadership in state agencies and committed to carry out the wishes of the PNC administration. Put that on the record. That is what the Commission of Inquiry found. Mr. Speaker, when we come to this
And
House,
you'll table that report?
I will table the report is before the House.
Okay. Sorry.
The third point that the Honorable Member made, and I don't know why this Honorable Member will say these things. He said to this House that the government, this government, must take its knees off of the neck of the judiciary. They watch TV and they get carried away. There is no originality. They get carried away with slogans in America. What is the evidence in this country that there has ever been an attempt to interfere with the independence of the judiciary by this administration? I say no one can produce any such evidence. And that is why I said, why the honorable member would go down that road when he sits on the benches of the People's National Congress. And the People's National Congress in 1970 abolished appeals to the Privy Council, removed the Privy Council from our legal system, thereby making the Court of Appeal of Guyana our final court, then go to the Court of Appeal and nail the party flag. Look, the party flag on the wall of the Court of Appeal to say to the people of Guyana, the PNC now controls the pinnacle of the Guyana judiciary.
That's correct. That's correct.
Under the doctrine of party paramountcy.
Inexperience.
And this comrade comes here to cast aspersions on the PPP. My God. Let me get back to my presentation, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to turn my attention now to the We Invest in Nationhood Party, a party that all of us would agree was born out of the most dubious circumstances. What is manifestly undoubted is had the honorable leader of the opposition not faced certain legal problems, none of you would have been there. You know that. Each and every one of you know that. You were born out of personal necessity. Born out of personal necessity. But we live in a democracy. We live in a democracy. No! You are so much scorned that they prefer to go over there.
That's correct. That is correct.
You have scarred the psyche of generations.
I'd rather be over there than
Mr. Speaker, when people have their personal problems, we stay away from it. That's common decency. That's the order of civil society. But when you begin to hold public office, when you are an elected member of the National Assembly, more so a leader of the opposition, then some aspect of your private business becomes our business, the people business, and the public business. And the matter is compounded by the fact that the honorable member chooses as his main platform anti-corruption, not corruption, anti-corruption. Now not banned. I got you, the Speaker. And he chooses the platform of transparency and accountability to launch his campaign. And nothing is wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with that. Those are virtuous and pious platforms to mount. But when you do that, you must know that it is not a one-way street. As the honorable member Swetnam, and I told you I'll quote you, she said it beautifully, and she made it a thematic aspect of her presentation. She said, accountability is not optional. Accountability is not optional. And Mr. Speaker, the honorable member, honorable opposition leader is scheduled to speak after me. And in my capacity as the most senior law officer in this land, I call upon him to explain to this honorable House, and by extension, the people of this country, why he was sanctioned by the Office of Foreign Assets Control of the United States of America. Accountability, Swetnam, is not optional. He must come here and account to the people.
And enforcement.
He must come here and tell us. I call upon the honorable member to also explain why he's the subject of federal indictments in the United States of America on serious charges of money laundering and fraud. Accountability is not optional. Mr. Speaker, it is also common knowledge that the honorable member is the subject of an extradition request. It is also common knowledge that the honorable member is strenuously resisting the extradition process, as he's entitled to do. And let me say for the record, Mr. Speaker, that as Attorney General of this cooperative republic, I shall do as I have been doing, everything lawfully possible to ensure that he is accorded all the safeguards that the law and the Constitution guarantee to him. But I have to call upon him in my capacity as a member of this House to explain to the people of Guyana and this House why he is unwilling to surrender, to go to the U.S., face his accusers, and vindicate his innocence. I call upon him to do so. After all, Honorable Member Swetnam, accountability is not optional. The people of Guyana deserve those explanations. And Mr. Speaker, also, I'm not finished. The Guyana Revenue Authority has assessed the Honorable Opposition Leader and his businesses to be indebted to the GRA in what presumptively are taxes evaded in the sum of 190 billion Guyana dollars. Let me explain the magnitude of this sum. Mr. Speaker, when I entered this National Assembly, when I entered the National Assembly for the first time in my first debate 20 years ago, the national budget of this country was $90.5 billion. The commute Cartaway 2.5 times that amount. The whole national budget of the country. In my first budgetary debate as Attorney General in 2012,
Mr. Speaker.
the national...
Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Yes, honorable member.
Mr. Speaker, I stand on 2 standing orders here for the 1-1, which requires the member to confine his or her observations to the subject under discussion, which is the budget, and standing order for the 1-6, which the member was just imputing improper motive to the member of assembly. The issue that he was talking as relates to GRA, it was before the court. They took it from the court, so it's not a case that it has been tried, and at this point he is imputing.
Honorable member, the speaker had given latitude, a lot of latitude to persons, and so.
Mr.
Honorable
Speaker,
Attorney General, please continue.
my presentation is very, very part of the budget. I just said that 2.5 national budgets were taken. And I'm going to say now that in my first budgetary debate as Attorney General of Guyana in 2012, the national budget was $192 billion, the entire country budget. The subject of that audit is $190 billion. It's another country's national budget we are speaking about. Where is the pundit? He worried about a couple, worried genuinely about 𝐁𝐔𝐃𝐆𝐄. But you know, the whole of 𝐁𝐔𝐃𝐄's budget, allocation in this budget is $13.4 billion. The allegation over there is 15 times that sum. It's 15 𝐁𝐶𝐃 budget economy. Where the honorable member? Nandrani Singh made a good point. She said that the budget has about over $70 billion of income tax in it. Great point. People pay a lot of taxes in this country. Check how many, I want the people of Guyana to divide 190 billion by 70 billion. And you will see how many times. About 3 times the size of all the taxes paid by the people of Guyana for the year 2025. Carted off.
23 times the ministry budget.
Mr. Speaker, I wanted to ask the Pandit if he could find 2 chaupai in the Ramayana to help explain these atrocities that I'm speaking about. Or at least 1 verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Why he's not here. Well, Mr. Speaker, these are serious and damning matters. And that is why we cannot play politics with national matters. You don't come to the national parliament, and what we were saying, and they were saying that we were being political. We are saying that this is the highest representative institution in this country. And when you come here, this is the, I have to say it, I don't want to sound immodest. This is the big league. This is the big league. If you are not qualified to represent the people of this country, don't come here. Don't come here, you dupe them at elections. We try to educate them, but they were duped. Oh, Mr. Speaker.
They have all been duped over there.
And then I wasn't Mr. Speaker, you know, I have not yet spoken about the 50 million US dollars and the 10,000 kilogram of gold that are the subject of the indictment. I haven't spoken about that. And I didn't plan to speak about the Lamborghini either. But then Honorable Member Natasha Lewis said in her presentation, and I nearly fell off my chair. She said in her presentation, I wish that the whole of Guyana could drive Lamborghini like my boss. Well, she didn't realize that the Lamborghini got the boss in all the problem. She wants the whole of the country to be extradited, Your Honor. We can't do that. So, Mr. Speaker, I thought that I repudiate that for the public record. So, Mr. Speaker, when the honorable member comes, the leader of the opposition, I hope that we can get some answers in the interest of transparency and accountability. Accountability is not optional. Now, I send you home, girl. Mr. Speaker, the rule of law is the glue that keeps modern society together. In its absence, anarchy and lawlessness prevail. Look around the world and you will see where there is an absence of the rule of law, there is social disorder, there is civil unrest, there is economic stagnation, and there is a breakdown of civil society itself. In a state of anarchy and lawlessness, not a single project in this budget that we are debating can be properly accomplished, and not a single measure effectively implemented. The Attorney General, Chambers, and the Ministry of Legal Affairs is a critical part of the state's architecture that ensures that there is adherence to the rule of law and obedience to the Constitution. The ministry holds executive responsibility in relation to the country's administration of justice. It is also this ministry's responsibility to work with other ministries and important agencies of state in order to design and craft the legislative agenda of Guyana. Most, if not all, the main policies, plans, and projects of the government require a statutory framework for their implementation and proper regulation. The Attorney General Chambers plays a significant role in designing and crafting this framework. Mr. Speaker, from the year 2023 to 2025, the Attorney General Chambers have been engaged in two important projects: revising the laws of Guyana and updating our law reports. Revising the law of Guyana, Mr. Speaker, for the benefit of the viewers and, of course, honorable members, is simply all the legislation that we are passing, at some point in time, we have to insert them in the consolidated volumes of the law and reprint the laws to reflect those insertions. That is revision. We last revised our laws in 2012, and we are doing a second one. And I am proud to inform the House that we have completed revision of the laws from 2012 to 2022, December 31st, and we will be launching them shortly. Law reports, Mr. Speaker, many of us following the many cases that are attracting public attention in the press, and they are hearing about case law being quoted from all over the world. Case law reports allow easy access to past decided cases. So if there is a case going on in Guyana and there is a particular legal issue, I can draw from a jurisdiction with a similar legal system across the Commonwealth, India, Africa, Australia, Canada, England, the Caribbean, and I can go to those countries' reports and pull down and find a case of similarity which can apply. Well, the law in Guyana, we also have a very long tradition of compiling our law reports dating back to the mid-19th century. But we have had gaps since. And in this installment, in 2012, I launched 10 reports from 1977 to 2007. And just after these budget estimates are completed, we are going to launch, along with the revision, law reports from 2008 to 2022, law reports of Guyana, in which you will find all the important cases that we have decided in all the courts of our country. A very important institution for lawyers, judges, and even academically inclined people. Mr. Speaker, since the year 1996, under the presidency of the great Dr. 𝐁𝐔𝐃𝐆𝐄, Guyana has been canvassing at the Council of Legal Education and elsewhere for permission to establish on these shores a regional law school. In the year 20, and of course, we have failed abysmally over the last few years. Honorable members will recall that my predecessor, Basil Williams, he went ahead and he turned the sod. He made a front page of the paper. He named the law school, but he never got permission from the lawful authorities to construct the law school. So it turned out to be a dupe. It turned out to be a sham. Anyhow, Mr. Speaker, in 2022, at a cabinet meeting, His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali said, AG, go and let us get that law school done. And I am proud to announce that under Dr. President Mohammed Irfan Ali, we secure the permission of Council in September 2025 for the construction of a regional law school in Guyana. So far, we have already identified and cleared 8 acres of land at Campus Turkine of UG, and in this budget, we have the first capital injection, and during the year 2026, we will begin the construction of a law school in Guyana. It is going to be a regional law school. It will attract students from across the Caribbean, and of course, it will provide cheap and accessible legal education to our own Guyanese. This is not only an academic institution, but it is an economic venture, because people of the Caribbean will come here, they will have to live, they will have to find accommodation, they will have to board, lodge, and eat, and Guyanese will benefit from those investments. Mr. Speaker, the Legal Affairs Ministry and the Attorney General Chambers is also responsible for representing the state of Guyana, both in Guyana and internationally. And as is public knowledge, the Attorney General Chambers coordinates with the Office of the President and the Foreign Affairs Ministry in assembling and be responsible for our representation at the International Court of Justice in the arbitral award matter between Guyana and Venezuela. And Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to inform the House that on the 27th of January 2026, all the parties in that case were notified by the court that the hearings on the merits of the case will open on Monday, the 4th of May 2026, and a detailed schedule for the hearings will be communicated shortly. Mr. Speaker, during the tenure of the APNU in government, they ran up debts, attracted liabilities, and put us in all sorts of problems across the globe. They took our rice from our rice farmers and millers, and they sold it $7 million US of it in Panama and never bothered to collect payment. We had to engage at the level of His Excellency the President. We engaged through the Ministry of Agriculture, through the Attorney General Chambers and the Foreign Affairs Ministry, and only in 2025 we were able to secure payment, and the Minister of Agriculture, my distinguished brother, who unfortunately has a personal problem right now, distributed the proceeds to our rice farmers and rice millers.
Honorable Attorney General, you're in the last 5 minutes.
I have last 5 minutes. Mr. Speaker, I have so much more to say. Mr. Speaker, we have been building. The Legal Affairs Ministry also has executive responsibility over the administration of justice in this country. The administration of justice is one of the most crucial institutions in any democracy. It is to these institutions that the people turn for enforcement of their legal rights, constitutional freedoms, and resolution of their disputes. This institution also ensures the prosecution and trial of criminal offenses. Mr. Speaker, access to justice before an independent judiciary is the sine qua non of the rule of law and a democratic society. Our government continues to invest in the administration of justice, building out courthouses right across the length and breadth of Guyana. In 2024, we opened courts, magistrates' courts at Port Kaituma, Mahaika, Madhya, Mabaruma, Friendship, a children's court at Charity, and a mental health court at Bartica, and the Anna Regina Magistrates Court. In 2026, we have many more courts that are under construction and will be opened. Mr. Speaker, we also invest in the judiciary in ensuring that they have personnel as well as the institutional capability, technological capability to manage their caseload. And today, I am pleased to announce that at almost every level of the judiciary, excepting the Magistrates Court for the time being, the High Court, the Full Court, the Court of Appeal, and the CCJ, the entire litigation process is now electronic and paperless. Electronic and paperless. And we are working to bring that to the Magistrates Court as well. Mr. Speaker, we have a long line of legislation in our legislative agenda slated for this year. We have the Developmental Bank Fund Bill, Guyana Natural Gas Bill, the Companies Bill, Evidence Bill, Depreciation Assets Sale Bill, a Trust Bill, Rehabilitation of Offenders Bill, Judge Alone Trial Bill, Alternative Sentencing Bill, Business Name Registration Bill, Road Safety Amendment Bill, National Heritage Preservation Bill, and Mr. Speaker, I have 2 or 3 more pages, which I will circulate for honorable members. Mr. Speaker, it is this ministry that also holds the responsibility for Guyana's AML-CFT sector. And Mr. Speaker, that sector ensures not only we guard against money laundering type offenses, as my distinguished sister, the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, spoke so elegantly and eloquently about, but we ensure that our financial systems are protected from contaminants emanating from illicit means and illicit activities. And Mr. Speaker, I want to report here that we went to the 𝐶FATF, which is the governing body that has to assess us and examine our systems, examine our laws, examine our institutional framework, and examine our performance. And they assessed us over a nearly 1 year period. And we scored the highest in the independent English-speaking Caribbean. We are to prepare now, Mr. Speaker, for another round of evaluation scheduled to take place next year. I'll be bringing a slew of bills to this House, Mr. Speaker, to meet new and evolving and emerging requirements that we have to satisfy at the international and global level. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, I have much more to say, but I can't say it. We'll have to engage outside of the House to bring the nation up to speed with all the developments taking place in the sector. I close, Mr. Speaker, by lending my most humble but solid support to Budget 2026 as we continue to build Guyana, beautify Guyana, modernize Guyana, and secure the future of all Guyanese. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Attorney General and Minister.